Hey everyone, Clay from Brooklyn, football with the fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Once again, I'm out of town, out of my studio, I'm on vacation. And so I apologize for the lighting and for the lack of Giants hat. Somehow I managed to leave New York without a Giants cap, which is unacceptable. I feel like we should add that to the penalties that we got last week against Dallas, just another 5-yard infraction. In any event, on to Kansas City. And so I want to briefly talk about this game tomorrow. It's Saturday now, against the Kansas City Chiefs. But first of all, Clay from Brooklyn, football with the fellas. It's all about Big Blue. You know what I want you to do. I want you to grab that like button. If you are excited about our game against the Chiefs tomorrow, as I am and as Mazo is, we need you to join our channel, subscribe, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those good things so we can talk about it. Okay, so I know Mazo has been labeling himself the optimist and me the realist. I still hold on to that, but I am starting to get a little bit excited about this game, and I don't want to write it off just yet. So a few things that come to mind. First and foremost, if we are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, we need to take a look at their offense first. The good news is that neither Xavier Worthy nor Rashee Rice, their two, I think, best wide receivers, will be playing against us. Worthy is injured, Rice is still suspended, so we don't have to face either of them. We do still have to face Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Tyquan Thornton. And I have to say, I ain't scared. I ain't scared of none of those. I mean, Hollywood Brown's okay. You know, he's a little guy and he's fast. He's kind of like their Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he's been used more effectively than Wan'Dale has for most of his career compared to Wan'Dale's career. But I see them as similar players. Brown may be slightly faster. Wan'Dale may be slightly more elusive and harder to bring down. Travis Kelce is still a tight end to be contended with. He's obviously going to the Hall of Fame, but he's not the same player that he was. So I'm not all that afraid of him either. I mean, as we saw last week, he dropped a key pass in that game. I mean, not to say that he's necessarily, going to drop a lot of passes, but I'm not afraid of him like I might have been 2 or 3 years ago. And their main running backs are Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Again, that doesn't keep me up at night. So I'm not that worried about their weapons. Their offensive line is, on paper, in theory anyway, slightly worse than it has been over the last year or two, which was already a little shaky. They've got rookie Josh Simmons at left tackle, replacing Joe Thuney, who is an all-pro guard, but had been moved out to left tackle last year because of injuries. But Joe Thuney's not on the team anymore. He moved on in free agency, and Josh Simmons is a rookie. He's had a couple of decent games, but I'm not ready to put him in Canton yet, so I ain't scared of him. Left guard Kingsley Suamataia is still struggling, though he's, at least according to PFF, slightly better than last year, but he was pretty bad last year. So that doesn't scare me. Now, Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, center and right tackle respectively, are still beasts. And, that's the strength of their offensive line. Right tackle Jawan Taylor is pretty inconsistent. He's got his ups and downs as well and has never been that good. So, yeah, their offensive line is really not all that. They have 2 studs and then 3 basically question marks. If the Giants are going to win this game, I think that's where it will start, with our defensive line and pass rush dominating their offensive line. That's their weak unit, and keeping Mahomes uncomfortable all day, just as he was in the 2 Super Bowls that he lost, right? Both of those games he lost primarily because his offensive line couldn't keep him protected and standing for most of the game. Now, as far as when we have the ball, the Chiefs defense. So first of all, Chris Jones is still a beast. Certainly he and Dexter are the 2 best interior defensive linemen in football. And Chris Jones has not lost a step. He's still a beast. And Spags is still their defensive coordinator, and he's still a genius. So there's that to contend with. And they have an elite cornerback in Trent McDuffie, a very, very good cover cornerback in Trent McDuffie. Not to mention a slew of really fast sideline-to-sideline speed linebackers. Their inside linebackers, I think, are the strength of that defensive unit. Obviously, Chris Jones is the strength. But as a unit, the linebackers are the strength of that unit. So, that's something to contend with. They can impact the run game and the passing game because, like I said, there's like 3 or 4 of them that just fly all over the field, and that's not something most teams have. So we have to contend with that. But really, that's about it. George Karlaftis, defensive end, who in my opinion is decent, but way overrated and way overpaid. He's okay as a pass rusher. He's actually solid as a pass rusher, not very good against the run. For example, last year he played over 1,000 snaps and had a total of 36 tackles. That's tackles, assisted tackles, and solo tackles, a combination of 36 in over 1,000 snaps. That's just not somebody who is a good run defender. So if we're going to have success offensively, we have to establish the run early and often, and then we have to make them pay when they cheat up to stop the run. So we have to have a few more of those moon balls out of Russ, probably on play action, to take advantage of the fact that they have one really good cornerback and the rest of their defensive backfield is not great, and that their linebackers are going to have to cheat up to in run support, because I think our offensive line, paltry and inconsistent as they are, can win in the run game against everybody other than Chris Jones on their defensive line. So yeah, we got to block Chris Jones well, probably with two people every play, and keep him from wrecking our offense. And then we have to run on the rest of them and take our shots when they're there down the field. So can we win this game? Sure, we can win this game. Kansas City is off to a very slow start. They don't look dominant this year. We just put up 37 points last week against Dallas. So obviously we can score points. So yeah, anything's possible. Can we beat Kansas City? Sure. Will we beat Kansas City and leave them at 0-3 for the first time in forever? That's doubtful. I got to say, I just don't see it. I think there are too many things that are not in our favor, not the least of which is the league's obvious, though clearly not stated, desire to have Kansas City make the playoffs. And if they start off 0-3, especially if the Chargers win Sunday, because we're playing the Sunday night game, so they'll know by then whether the Chargers won. The Chargers are 3-0 and Kansas City's 0-3. That is not looking good for Kansas City. So I think that they're going to get a lot of close calls from the officials. I think that the offensive line for Kansas City, which is known for getting away with holding and for jumping the snap and not getting called for it, is going to get a lot of that as well. I think that the occasional defensive pass interference against us is going to come up when needed, because they seem to get those whenever they're really needed. So we have to beat them handily to win it all, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think that we're that team yet, that we can beat the Kansas City Chiefs handily. But hey, this is a Giants channel. So yeah, I think we're going to go in there with confidence and enthusiasm. I think our team is going to go in there with the knowledge that Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll, and to some extent, Russell Wilson's jobs are all on the line. If not this week, certainly pretty soon thereafter. So our players are going to go out there with the idea of, let's try to save these guys' jobs and maybe their own individually. So I give us what I call a puncher's chance, because we do have talent at a lot of key positions. I think, like I said, we scored 37 points last week. I think we can even win a shootout, but I think our defense, especially up front, should be able to dominate their offensive line and maybe keep Kansas City under 24 points. So maybe we can win a 27-24 game or something like that. So I do give us a shot, but we really never do well on national television, especially, night games. So I'm not saying that I'm superstitious, but I'm just saying the reality is we don't do well in those positions, and the Chiefs do. So I wouldn't put any money on this game on the Giants, but I'm going to go in there with confidence and hope for the best. And I'm more importantly, I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about our chances to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football? So, Clay from Brooklyn, Football with the Fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Asking you to drop a comment, share, like, and subscribe. And I'm out.
What's up, Big Blue fans? It's your man Mazda from Football with the Fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Hey, before I start, let me tell you in that pregame analysis, let me tell you something. Did you see Clay from Brooklyn? Did you see him in that last episode? Yes, he's away again, and he did not have his gear. He didn't have his headgear on. What's going on? Every time you show up to a game, you got to have your helmets, right? The team's got to have the helmets. And what else? We got to have our New York Giant gear on. So come on. You got to have the New York Giant gear on. Clay, let me look in I'm in the Big Blue, All About Big Blue studio right now. Let me look for something. Clay, we're throwing the flag on you on that one. Throwing the flag on that one. Next time, have all your gear before you show up and talk to our fans. Come on, Clay. Come on, Clay from Brooklyn. What's up, man? Hey, like he said, I'm the optimist. He's the realist. And you see how he's starting to come on my side now, right? He's slowly coming over. Okay, the Giants are 0-2 for the season. And the Chiefs, hey, they're 0-2 also. And we know what's going on. The Chiefs, it's like almost like a do or die game for them. If they lose now, with the way San Diego is playing, they might not even make the playoffs, which is unheard of for the Chiefs, in recent years. Then you got, the whole thing where, the NFL and ABC, NBC, they kind of want the Chiefs to be in there, with the Travis Kelce and the matrimony thing and all that, yeah, hey, and so there may be, I'm not saying there will be, but there may be a few calls that might be a little questionable, in Kansas City's favor. But I won't say that. I won't say that. It'll be because the Giants, it'll be the Giants home opener and they'll be ready. Did you see how the Giants played in the last game against Dallas? I mean, okay, we lost. Yeah, finally we lost, but the offense woke up. The offense really woke up. Russ was cooking. Russ was cooking. Cooking. So hey, and then Malik Neighbors, he was doing his thing out there, and then Wandale Robinson. What was amazing about Wandale is it debut calling plays because they finally realized the little outs to Wandale, he can do more than that. I mean, he's a professional football player. Was hitting them deep down the seam. I mean, you can't ask for nothing better than that. Wandale was wide open. And Russ was throwing his moon balls, and Wandale was doing his thing too. And hey, let's talk about Russ for a minute. Russell Wilson, he's thrown for 618 yards so far this year. He's ranked second in the NFL. Yes, he was cooking. Russell Wilson was cooking. And hey, Malik Neighbors, right now, he has 14 catches right now for like 238 yards. And I think Russ has found his guy, found them. I'm finally throwing to our main guy. He's finding a way to get him the ball, which is great. And a fan favorite. You hear me and Clay from Brooklyn say it all the time, but I gotta say it. Cam Skidoo! Scatterboo was doing his thing too. He was like running over guys, and he's got good hands, picking up the blitz. He was doing, and I have to say this. Wait a minute. I definitely have to say, the offensive line didn't do a really bad job. They did actually a good job keeping, the Dallas defensive line off of Russ, giving him some time to like to step up and throw those moon balls. So I'm going to give big ups to the offensive line. They're not perfect, but they did a better job than they've done in the past, which is not really saying a lot, right? Because they haven't been really good. But, I digress. I will say this. Our defensive line, they played well. Still, we got gashed a couple of times with some runs, in our last game, but that's not going to happen against the Chiefs. Our secondary, they're going to be tested by Mahomes. You know that. They're going to be tested. But I will say this. The Chiefs' offensive line is going to be tested by our guys. Our guys, Burns is coming. Abdul Carter is coming. They're coming hard and heavy. They're coming out to get them. I'm going to say, they're going to say, hey, how you doing? They're going to be, clapping 5 to get the Mahomes. And then we're going to see the Sexy Dexy dance. You know that? Sexy Dexy's going to be doing this thing. He's going to stop the run, and he's going to match those guys. And as Clay would say, get out of the club and throw an offensive lineman out the way and get into Mahomes. You just see Mahomes is running a lot more this year than he has in the past, but he better not do that against the Giants. Big Blue is coming. Big Blue is coming. I see Jackson Dart may get in this game too. And I see him throwing, I just see it. I see him throwing a seam pass to Theo Johnson. And he'll fall in love with our tight end. And Theo's gonna have a big game. I see Theo Johnson having a big game. I see again, Sexy Dexy's gonna be doing his thing. You know that. Darius Slayton. He's going to be getting the ball a lot in this game. I do see a shootout. And Tyrone Tracy, he's gonna break. I can see him breaking some big runs in this game too. Maybe this is me. I'm the optimist for the Giants. I see the Giants having a really good game. This is the season opener. It's Sunday Night Football. The Big Blue is going to show up. And you know what? Be on upset alert. Big Blue's going to show up. And look, big time scoring game. 27-24, Big Blue. You heard it here. I'm your man from Mazo, Football with the Fellas, all about Big Blue. Do what we always ask you to do. We want you to smash that subscribe button, click on the likes, and let me know what you think. What do you think? First of all, what do you think about Clay from Brooklyn and not having his hat and what he said? What do you think about what he's saying? And what do you think about me? What do you think what I said? Do you think the Giants are going to win against the Chiefs? Let me know. Put that down in the comments. Hey, y'all. It's always a pleasure to be hanging out with you guys. Appreciate all your support. And as we always say, Football with the Fellas, all about Big Blue. It's your man Mazo. Peace. Big shout out to El Marquis Productions, the talent behind the music and production here at Football with the Fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Their beats bring energy and excitement to every episode. El Marquis' skills in mixing, mastering, and creating top quality sound make the podcast come alive each week. For your own projects, check out elmarquisproductions.com and take your sound to the next level.